Larry sits at the forefront of crypto's legal transformation in Africa, and we are excited today to dive into his work, explore the current landscape of crypto in Africa and what the future of it on the continent looks like.
In fact, that was the first time I actually started hearing about this blockchain, because there was, I think, a project from Barclays. I don't know if it's still classified, but it was banking the unbanked, banking the unbanked. And that was the first time I started dealing with companies that were dealing with distributed ledger technologies. So crypto now is another opportunity for you to now say, what can I better in my ecosystem? Because if FlySaf Air and Binance were to do a deal, and there's a discount in terms of if you pay with crypto, you get cheaper discounts on your flights. I would do that. Like, I would want money in my crypto account so that I can get cheaper money and flights.
Fair point.
So it's all about the use cases, usability. Binance, we've incorporated or integrated with Pick and Pay, so you can pay using your assets in the Binance wallet and or your account, and you can pay for groceries at Pick and Pay. Just embraced it. Really understood that the technology is solid. Could be the new next Bitcoin, or the new next XRP, or the new next BNB. Who knows, right?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. In studio today, we are joined by Larry Cooke, the head of legal Africa for Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. Larry sits at the forefront of crypto's legal transformation in Africa, and we are excited today to dive into his work, explore the current landscape of crypto in Africa and what the future of it on the continent looks like. So, welcome to it. Let's get to it. Get ready to ignite your light and let it burn bright with us here on EXC-i8. Larry, thank you so much for taking out the time to be with us today. I know you got a super busy schedule, but we really do appreciate you being here with us today.
Thanks, Terence. I appreciate it. You guys have been doing great work. I've checked a couple of your other interviews.
Yes.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So I'm privileged to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And now you are here. And, I just want to get, before diving straight into it, I just want to get a little bit of, a background of yourself, your journey and how you landed up at Binance.
Yeah, interesting question. I was on the other side of the fence, so to say.
Right.
But just a young colored kid, going through life, trying to figure out stuff. I think my father told me that I should study law, and I guess I followed that trajectory.
Okay.
So one of those type of stories. Wasn't the smartest, wasn't the straight A student. So I was a bit of a rebel.
Okay.
But managed to balance it out, and I guess those were the beginning phases of trying to strike a balance between the two extremes that we always offered, I guess, in life.
Yes.
But yeah, did my articles with Weber Wenzel Attorneys, one of the best law firms in Africa, South Africa specifically. That was through a bursary program that I was fortunate again to be a part of through Absa. That lended me to go through Absa, but it was a time when Absa was becoming Barclays, because Barclays had a big presence from an Africa perspective, and it was Barclays Africa Limited or something like that.
Yes,
that they were moving towards. And then 4 years into that journey, Barclays kind of makes a U-turn and says we want out of Africa, and then Absa buys the rest of Barclays in Africa, then Africanacity forms. So I was there during that transition period, so already started tackling, or at least getting comfortable with working in a very vague and ambiguous environment because of change. And in fact, that was the first time I actually started hearing about this blockchain, because there was, I think, a project from Barclays. I don't know if it's still classified, but it was banking the unbanked, banking the unbanked. And that was the first time I started dealing with companies that were dealing with distributed ledger technologies. And I sit in more on the commercial side of things from a contractual perspective. And then, after about 7.5 years, I don't even know how many, but let's say 7+ years at Absa, Barclays Absa. Then I went to the Reserve Bank, was there for, I think, just under 3 years.
Okay.
Also similar trajectory, always finance, always fintech, always technology. And then also just finding myself making myself relevant in the organizations. You know,
Yes.
you really take the opportunities, and sometimes you have to make the opportunities. So I was part of like a lot of the alumni graduate programs, you know, getting the guys together, seeing what problems we can solve, you know, getting management to look at us young guys and saying, look, we're here, get us a seat at the table, you know.
Yes.
And all of that, until you start realizing that you can just do things in excellence, and the rest will open up doors, you know.
Very true.
And then, so that was the Reserve Bank. Even in from Weber Wenzel's to Absa to Reserve Bank, touched on various things, like from employment law to banking and finance, that kind of became the specialty, insurance laws, all the way to going to the Reserve Bank, where you learn about numismatic money and you know, things that you don't get textbook knowledge or introductory level at, you know, in FITS or in wherever you study in. So yeah, again, different worlds keep on getting put in the deep end, dealing with difficult stakeholders, dealing with difficult environments, and just navigating. And then one day I got a LinkedIn from some lady, I think she was in Singapore, and they were like, hey, do you want to come to Binance? So I was like, I don't know, I don't really know what Binance is, you know. I know more about Bitcoin because a friend of mine in Absa, he was like, buy Bitcoin when it was still like 10,000 or something like that. And I was like, no, I'm not going to waste my money on that.
This is so funny because you got headhunted pretty much in the same way you get those messages in your inbox, like, have you heard about crypto?
Exactly. And it was so crazy because like I don't think I was ready for it. So I ignored that message like maybe a good 2 days, 3 days. Then they followed up and said, are you not interested in this? Your profile is very, you know, the typical LinkedIn smooching that they do. Yes. And I was like, okay, what is it? And then, you know, and said, well, what is it? Then like the package, obviously the money looked good and all of that. I was like, okay, cool. Then started talking about the deeper questions, and before I knew it, I was down a rabbit hole, and I was starting to say, oh, Binance is actually really interesting, because when I was at the Reserve Bank, I was on the other side, and we were already dealing with like stablecoin issuer in South Africa that wanted to be legitimized through this Reserve Bank, and we were already engaged with them. We were already drafting legislation, dealing with our sister regulators, the FSCA, you know, already trying to tackle the space, see if there is a real risk and how that would affect our economy as South Africa. So I was looking at it from that lens, and I was very, I guess, a typical regulator, nose up, like, no, this technology here, you know, it'll come and abide by our rules, and it won't just come here and do what it wants to do.
Yeah. And you sound like a lot of us when you say that. So it's funny that you were on that side too at one stage.
I was there. I was not a non-believer. It's just I don't think I was personally invested in that change. And you if you study any adoption curve, there's always that openness that you need, that open-mindedness you need, because at some point in time, banks were as revolutionary as crypto exchanges. And mobile money was as revolutionary as crypto exchanges. It's just now crypto is now the new thing. After it will probably be, maybe it's quantum currencies that's next after crypto, like who you know. So I just fell into that curiosity, you know, just embraced it, just really understood that the technology is solid. Like, I think from a 4IR perspective, you know, we're talking about fourth industrial revolution, the technology is solid. And once you start understanding it, and then you start attaching that to use cases, you start appreciating what it actually allows, what it enables, and who it actually includes. So yeah, then I got into the crypto space, really baptism by fire. I think the first Friday I was in Binance, I had 14 meetings.
It seems like baptism of fire or being thrown into the deep end was sort of your thing throughout your career. Eh?
Yeah, I guess I got a thick skin. So that's where I ended up in Binance. And at Binance, you age in dog years. So like 2 months feel like 2 years. Because people forget, as big as we are, like under 300 million users, registered users. Crazy transaction volumes, you know, over 22, 23 licenses, different jurisdictions. It's a lot, and we're only 8 years old.
That is wild.
Yes.
I didn't think of it to be that big.
And our goal is 1 billion. And will probably be achieved within 5 years, I believe, at least.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing.
That's why, I mean, if people like look at also the negative sentiments and stuff like that, the biggest players always have the biggest target on their back, and we like hitting all the headwinds in terms of pioneering the space, you know, with fellow sister brother VAS, virtual asset service providers. But yeah, I think Binance is really doing something that that is really revolutionizing
Yeah.
the way we
Yeah.
look at the financial industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're going to touch back on that a little bit more and find out exactly what sets Binance apart from, its competitors, if we could call it that. But very curious, because you mentioned, I just want to pick back on something that you said, like, would people in your circles know that there is a rebel or there was a rebel in you? You mentioned that it was, studying law was never on the cards for you, but it was dad said, and that's what I'm going to do. What did a young Larry want to do at some point in his life?
So, what I think it was, what's life orientation? I don't know if they still have that subject. Hello.
I think they do.
So
I actually think they might have gone back to calling it life skills.
Really?
I remember it was life skills, then switched to LO, and I think it's back at life skills now, but I could be mistaken.
I also don't know, but
Yeah.
because they don't do A's anymore and B's. There's sevens and sixes
That's right.
and stuff like that.
That's
So I was
right.
like, okay,
Yeah.
if you say so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember very vividly that day. Like, they had three people that came in. One was an accountant, one was a doctor, and one was a lawyer.
Okay.
And they were basically saying, this, and they were doing like a career day or something like that, and telling us about what you do. And somebody asked the question about who earns the most and what requires the most time.
Okay.
And it seemed that being a lawyer was always in that balance space. Like, you won't earn as crazy as a doctor, but you won't have to work dog hours as an accountant.
Okay.
Which I don't know if that's true, but
In hindsight, you're like,
so I was kind of weighing my options and trying to, at that age, thinking I'm smart and be like, yes, I think I'm going to do this. And then when I spoke to my dad, he's like, no, just be a lawyer, just do law. Your sister's going to do psychology, you're going to do law. So he also probably had his
Yeah.
his bets on different horses. And then I started getting into law, and I realized law is a respected industry. The fraternity of legal-minded people, I think that you can draw a lot of inspiration from them. Not a lot of them get spotlighted and highlighted, but a lot of guys like that I've met, they've done or been on cases or closed deals that have literally revolutionized and changed our day-to-day life as a living South African that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
Like, you really meet like people that do great humanitarian work, to people that have invented things or helped with filing certain patents that the whole entire world's reliant on.
Yeah.
And going through that avenue, because I first studied my BCom law. So I saw, okay, I'm going to be in the financial sector, but let me keep the law thinking and keep relevant and kind of see how it evolves, and then ended up going LLB. But I wanted to be a public prosecutor. I always had the sense of justice, and I want to do something, and also law movies and all of those things all play a role in what you think law looks like. And Your Honor, I say this, and closing the case, dropping bars, in court. Until I got a very shocking reality of what actually happens behind the scenes. And I think I was there studying at UJ at that time, and we went for I don't know what's it called, applied court practices, legal studies, whatever it was called, but one of the entry modules. And we met advocates in the South African High Court here down in Brum. And the case file, they said, look, if you guys want to really know what's going on, stay in the room. If you can't handle sensitivities, please leave the room.
Yeah.
And we're like, the guy's obviously like, no, we're here. We're about that life. Let's find out.
Yeah.
And I've never experienced or read or seen something so live about violence. It was a domestic violence case. I won't get into the gory details, but it was happened in a farm area. Afrikaans guy and his significant other, and that case was just gruesome. Like, you would think, like, what type of evil in this world? And at that point in time, I already realized that, like, I don't have the maturity to be in this type of space. Like, I couldn't find myself going into the public sector. There's so many problems. I'd just be an angry person. I never had the maturity or the patience or the calmness to deal with those type of matters, because my sense of justice, I think, was just a bit too too dramatic. So I ended up doing the commercial route and saying, okay, let's focus on making money. When I'm older and retire, I'll give up my rest of the days to help.
Well, that makes sense. And just thinking about it and trying to imagine what could have been, inside the case file or whatever, you got to take on all that extra weight of all these different kinds of problems. And I can't see myself doing that either.
It's
So,
tough.
yeah, I can imagine. So, what does a day look like? A typical day look like, for Larry, working at one of the biggest crypto platforms in the world? How does your day look like?
Uh, it depends on which fire I'm putting out. So at any point in time, there's a couple of pots on the stove.
Right.
So it would depend on which one needs the most attention.
Okay.
But generally, from dealing with typical admin, because again, in my space, like we don't have like a full team, so it's not like me sitting as head of legal and then we have like 54 other legals that's local in those jurisdictions, right? And I'm an admitted attorney in South Africa. I have a lot of Africa exposure, but as much as I'm an expert in Africa, I still rely on a lot of my local counterparts. So just putting that as a framework.
Yeah.
But it will deal with typical from administrative stuff to like queries around, employment related issues, internal issues around structures and contracts and corporate structures, restructuring. It will deal with literally everything. It will deal from regulatory reviews to new legislation to travels a lot, a meeting with various regulators and helping them craft what good legislation looks like. It's a bit of lobbying to let them see that crypto isn't the bad actor that you think it is. It's a lot of strategic thinking and application in terms of product rollouts. So I look after also various BUs in my space. I look after AI. I look after Convert. Those are the various products within our space, P2P as well. And supported with a lot of other legal-minded people from various jurisdictions. So we work on a very flat structure. It's not what I like and can appreciate about Binance. There's not really about this hierarchical thing of, you have to talk to this person to talk to this person. You really just form into a group and say, this is the problem, we need to solve it. However many hands we need, whoever has the capacity, we jump in, we solve it there and then. So deal with stuff from the rest of Middle East, deal with stuff from in Asia. If I work with my other team members, we're also always dealing with legacy issues that we're also correcting within the space and incorrect narratives about the space. So wherever there's opportunities, working with partners, working with traditional finance players. Right. So the banks, our version is never just, oh no, crypto is the new thing. It's about financial inclusion, right?
Sure.
You have banks, you have mobile money wallets, you have crypto. They all serve different purposes. It's about building probably a bigger, more robust financial infrastructure and ecosystem.
Yes.
So that's where we advocate from. So we're always open to working with mobile money service providers. We're open to working with banks, various tech companies, etc. So, and people forget that Binance is a tech company. So a lot of the issues that we dealing with is how do we make tech relevant in this application for this real world problem and solution. So a typical day revolves around just being agile, being open, being available. I've always told a lot of people that ask me, how do I survive in this space? I say the 3 A's, and one of my mentors told me this. So it's availability. That's the first one. It's affability. That's the second one.
Right.
And then the third one is ability. And it's in that order because most problems just need somebody as a first point of contact. Just to pacify the situation, just to be like, okay, breathe, because our business stakeholders can be very dramatic, and compliance and legal are generally the ones that step in and say, okay, what is the issue? Define the issue. Like, oh no, the business is going down. Okay, why is it going down? Like, just explain what is going down, you know?
Yeah.
And then when you start getting the facts and start breaking down you see the problem isn't that big.
Yeah.
So we kind of act as a therapist to business, helping them understand the risks that they're getting into, understand the opportunities that the legal frameworks allow them to operate in, and working around that. It's a very liberating experience because back to the point of wanting to be a prosecutor, etc. You realize that person that probably committed those vile acts, they were probably dealing with other issues. And most of the time, I'm not saying all the time, most of the times it's financial issues, because you don't see people upset on a ski boat. Yeah. I haven't, you know what I mean? So I'd like to believe if our financial system, right, was better and more inclusive and catered to more people's needs, there would be a reduction in terms of certain outcomes that society experiences.
Yes.
I mean, job employment. The more people get jobs, the less people protest on the streets.
Yes.
Maybe I'm not an economist, but I think there's certain rational thinking we can apply there. So, yeah, being part of Binance, you get to contribute to the financial sector from that perspective as well. It's a lot.
It is a lot, man. And, I kind of chuckled internally with the 3 A's, and you mentioned, availability, and I get it to be available, in the business space and things like that. And you mentioned all the fires that you got to put out and all of that. But I'm listening to you list everything that goes on. I'm like, man, are you available for yourself? Like, do you sleep? Like, do you eat? Are you okay?
My wife is going to watch this and she will probably put a comment there. But because we work in different time zones, and even within Africa, like I'm always have to wear like 2 different watches, not wear them, but on my phone, I'll have like 3 different watches, just because certain markets where there's certain more pressing items that we attend into, I have to be on top of that. So either it's 2 hours advanced, 2 hours before South Africa time, or it's 2 hours before. So I generally wake up early and sleep late. 4 hours, 5 hours sleep is good for me. I've been trained in that. So, and again, everything like adds up by God's grace. But I mean, being a lawyer, like the grueling stuff that you go through articles, etc., teaching you how not to sleep, it's created that muscle in me now, I guess.
Yes.
But also I think Binance also is encouraging around, work-life balance.
Okay.
We work fully remotely. Some of my people I work with, I've never seen in real life.
Oh, okay.
Haven't seen my boss in real life. Could be AI simulations for all I know. Teasing. But,
you've been talking to AI this whole time.
you never know. But it's a very agile environment. You just need to, and that's why I say availability is key. And I see the logic behind it. Affability is also, because sometimes you just need to calm a situation and just hear a person's problem. Sometimes the person's just angry. Be it a regulator, be it whoever, and just let them vent. Just let them express themselves.
Get it out.
Don't just respond and be defensive. Just let it out, and then ability obviously kicks in. But I think
I see how that works too.
I don't know how I do it. God's grace, I'm here. And also when I was moving to Binance, fun fact, I just got married, and baby was on the way, so it was just like, and we were just about to move house. So it was everything happening. When it rains, it pours. So everything was happening at the same time. Yeah.
And you had to try and make all of that work.
I'm here.
You're here. You're doing it.
So it worked. It's happening, but it requires discipline. It requires sacrifice. Like you're not going to be. I like watching. I think it's Alexandra or Troy as well, where he said, Alexandra maybe, where he's like, history won't remember your name if you're too scared.
Facts.
Or was it Gladiator? I don't know, but it was one of the Brad Pitt movies where I was acting in those Roman times, and he used to drop a lot of bombshells, just bars, just be like, oh yes,
the little nuggets,
and I'd be like, yes, okay, that's true. So you kind of build that resilience. You have to work hard. You have to do more. You have to look for the opportunities. You have to do more, and in hopes that at the end I get to retire, but earlier. Later.
That's the dream, right?
That's the target. Yeah.
So Binance has grown quite quickly and rapidly in such a short space of time. You mentioned that it's been around for 8 years. You yourself has been working there for 2 years. What do you think attributed to its rapid growth?
I think, and look, first of all, respect to the OGs that held the fort and started, the wave in Binance. But I think where that kind of turning point took place is where we started focusing and really being serious around compliance and just the shaping up into a form that's more acceptable to regulators and to the public, to show them that this is not fly by night money, and it's not just in and out, and also letting them understand that the traditional the issues that we had in the traditional finance sector, they just mirrored in crypto.
Sure.
Right? It's not new problems we have. It's like scamming is not new. They just found a new channel of doing scams. You get what I'm saying?
And especially because now crypto is the new thing. It's going to get all the heat, right? Because people got to sort of build that mistrust and sort of control the narrative. Don't trust, especially when you still want to, I guess, control how the world's monetary system operates, there must be some sort of, false narratives and things like that at play to sort of,
No, 100%. And if you get into the numbers, like if you look at South Africa's population, then you say, okay, how much of that population is actually on crypto? Then you ask yourself, can that minority actually influence the wider macroeconomic situation in South Africa? Not really. You know what I mean? Like we're not at that adoption phase where if somebody sneezes in the crypto world, there'll be this massive ripple effect.
Okay.
We're not at that stage yet. But again, people forget that. And Binance being in its infancy, but still so mature, the turning point took place where we started really aggressively hiring experts in traditional fiat space, and regulatory space. So, I mean, I'm an ex-regulator. They're in my team, and I know they also hired a lot of ex-regulators. Our CEO is an ex-regulator coming from Singapore, Richard Teng. The people that they've hired people with a lot of institutional experience. So people that's been in, like, I think of the general manager in South Africa. He's been at HSBC for 22 years.
Yeah.
I think of my head of compliance for South Africa as well, and helps with Africa as well. He's been a lawyer. He moved over to compliance. He's been in Netbank. He's been in Standard Bank. He's been at Weber Wentzel, and now he's in Binance. So because at the end of the day, the Binance, the brand, all of that is nice. It's not all nice, cool frills and stuff, but it's actually the people that actually make it matter.
Right.
And if you look at the quality, and just my honest opinion, the quality of people that I've engaged with at Binance is next level. Like I used to feel very confident and comfortable in my own skin when I was at the Reserve Bank, and you could hold conversation of your own space that you're looking after, etc. The first time we all understand imposter syndrome, especially as us as brown people, etc.
Yes.
I knew that concept, but I never felt it.
You never felt it?
No.
Yeah.
The first time I felt it was in Binance.
Okay.
Where I was like, okay, this pond just got much, much bigger.
Yeah.
Like you're not the only person now that knows about distributed ledger technology. You're not the only person that knows about AI. You're not the only person that knows about quantum. You're not the only person that knows that I used to be in different other spaces where I was like, oh,
you could own those spaces and
eat comfortably. Yeah. Now it's a thing of, it's taken me to another journey where I understand the power of collaboration. I understand the power of having the right people in the right room and managing those type of strategic planning and conversations and being able to assess problem and what people are saying. You get to learn that skill set faster because you applying your knowledge to what people also perceiving on their side of the world and vice versa. So it's like, as much as imposter syndrome was creeping in and stuff, those guys on the other side were also looking at you for answers. Like, okay, but what's the answer? And you're like, oh, we both don't know.
Yeah.
And you kind of like work together to solve for it. So yeah, it's been good. But the turning point for me is definitely when we've been focusing on enhanced regulation. And again, Binance is a centralized exchange. It's not decentralized like the understanding of what's decentralized and centralized. People also don't have that education. So you think, oh no, Binance, you can do whatever you want to do. No, Binance is actually more stringent than most of your banks.
Okay.
Like our security protocols, our transaction monitoring, our KYC processes, I can tell you that for nothing, that our stuff is better than most traditional spaces that haven't kept up.
Across the board or just with Binance?
Globally.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because being licensed in various jurisdictions, over 20 different jurisdictions, we always apply the best standard. So if somewhere in Spain or France or wherever, they'd say, this is your standard, that standard would be affected or required to cross, even if there's no regulation in a specific country, like say Chad in Africa, right? Those users that are operating the global exchange would still benefit from that robustness from compliance, etc. Like we do liveness checks. Certain payments can't take place or transactions can't take place unless it's also verified for a liveness test.
Yes.
If we pick up anything suspicious, again, because the blockchain is immutable, you have a better source of recourse with us than you do with the bank. Because if I come to you with a suitcase full of money, you don't know where that money came from. Like, here's 100,000, boom, on your lap. And I'm like, no, I'm a banker, Where did that money come from?
Where did it come from?
So people are complaining about crypto, but I mean, crypto, you'll see the ledger transactions, you'll see where it came in, where it came out.
Yeah.
Chain analysis does amazing work regarding identifying certain flows of illicit funds.
Yeah.
We partner with those type of players. Your crypto is more secure in our exchange than maybe your money is at your bank.
Yeah.
In certain banks, I don't know. Again, it's not us
Yeah.
versus them, but it's more so about the underlying technology, the distributed ledger technology. That is what gives crypto its arrogance or its confidence.
Sure. Well, Larry, between you and me, now, if you do have that bag of money with 100K in it and you want to drop it off, I won't ask questions. I'm chill like that. So we can just, be about our business and carry on.
Hey, look, I wish I had that bag of money as well myself. We could both be about our business, but I'm sure we'll get flagged by SARS and every other regulatory authority.
I am one of those people, where I still, believe that the cash is king. I still have a hard time, trusting, the fiat system. So now to make the leap over to crypto, I mean, what do you say to somebody who is, sort of on the fence, or not even on the fence, but still, so set back on the concept that cash is king and we don't want to move? Or even, somebody who might be wanting to, but they don't know the ins and outs or exactly how it works. How would you encourage somebody to get into crypto?
Yeah. Look, I'm not going to be a fearmonger, and kind of use some type of reverse psychology to get somebody across. I'd say from my journey, I would say one, change is inevitable, right? Change will happen whether you're ready or not ready. But the people that benefit mostly from the change are those that are willing to embrace it, willing to be more curious about it, and willing to really get involved. I think that you need to have that mindset. Like, even if you don't have that mindset, and people are hearing me, I'm saying appreciate that certain things change in life, and it will change regardless of if you do something, if you don't do something, if you hide yourself under the bed, that change will take place. That once you appreciate that, then we can move on to the next step. The next step is saying, is this change good, right? Does it benefit? Does it solve a problem? You don't need to be an expert in technology or, understand the market and its intricacies. All you need to understand is, and I've explained this to my mother, is that because she's also one of those gray hairs where they're like, I don't want to do this. And so I'm like, is it good? Does it help people's life, right? Are you helping real world problems? And I say, yes, it is. Because as opposed to if I sent you 500 Rand through a traditional system and you're on the other side of in a different country or whatever the case might be, that 500 getting to you, by the time you get it will be 300 Rand or 250 Rand if you're lucky, right? This technology allows that 500 Rand to be round about 499 Rand, or 490 Rand. So it's putting power back into the hands it belongs, right? There's security. There's a lot of benefit that's come with this technology. So the technology is good, right?
Yeah.
Number two. Moving to number three, right? If it is good, then what is it? Is it good for you? And I don't know. You'd have to now ask yourself, how can I can I do something better on this type of platform or this type of ecosystem than I'm struggling with currently? Like, what is your issues? Is your issue saving? Is your issues not getting access to certain opportunities in the market? Are you worried that maybe, your money is not growing the way it is, so maybe you want to invest, And then if you start asking those questions, then you can get deeper questions and say, okay, what can I invest in? How can I save? What does that look like? Because you use things people use things for personal usage.
Yeah.
As much as there's a bank account and the bank wants you to use it in this way, people will end up using it in the way that makes sense to them. Like, you'll find most South Africans already have like 2-3 different bank accounts or bank cards with different banks.
Sure.
You ask yourself why? Because they'll take the same salary money that they get, they'll put it in this account, and they'll take this one for saving and this one for groceries and this one's for whatever. And you make an ecosystem within your own space.
Yeah.
So crypto now is another opportunity for you to now say, what can I better in my ecosystem? Because if FlySaf Air and Binance were to do a deal, I don't even should I be saying names, but anyway, hypothetically speaking, right? And there's a discount in terms of if you pay with crypto, you get cheaper discounts on your flights. Like, I would do that. Like, I would want money in my crypto account so that I can get cheaper money and flights.
Fair point.
So it's all about the use cases, usability. Binance, we've incorporated or integrated with Pick and Pay, so you can pay using your Binance assets. your assets in the Binance wallet and or your account, and you can pay for groceries at Pick and Pay.
Why did I not know that? Wow. Okay.
I'll talk to the marketing team. We'll double down on that. But you can do that. And
that's cool.
Sometimes we zero rate those transactions. Sometimes
Yeah.
we give prizes. If people go and buy a trolley of 1,000 rand, we give them 10% or 20% or 30%, etc. Because something in South Africa, if you notice, there's this reward system is a big
huge.
culture. Like people sit with like a stack of these type of, you got your Discam card, you got your Clicks card, you got your Spar card, you got your Checkers card, and you go for those specials, now there's apps for them.
I'm one of those guys with a Checkers card or whatever. I'm like, that's with my wife. I carry nothing.
I keep some apps on my phone, but do I always use them? Yeah, that's another question. But some of the deals, like, you will use them. Like if there's Discam's having a 25% special on cologne, like, we there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, making crypto relevant to a person and to encourage them is saying that don't shy away from it. Like, just lean into it with curiosity, and don't also feel pressured. Don't feel like, oh, you have to jump on this like right now. Start simple. Just open up the account. Just read 1 or 2 articles a day. Just join go onto Instagram and just go and log on, follow someone on crypto, subscribe to your platform, listen to the guests that you interview,
Come on now.
Do the like and subscribe button and ching, all of those things,
Yes.
and just listen to the conversation. And then you realize that even as scared that we were of, like, when was it, millennial, when 2000 was 1999, and then it turned, and we thought all stuff is going to change. We have those cycles as humans, and this is just another one of those cycles. It's not just for the cool kids. It's for everyone. Crypto is for everyone. And I always say that crypto, one, is a team sport, because you need your regulators as your coaches and as your referees and your linesmen and your VAR. That's another conversation, But then you need your strikers, you need your defenders, you need your goalkeepers, your midfielders. It's really and I'm using soccer, but I'm sure in all other sports you have those type of analogies that can be drawn. It's a team sport. So it's not just Binance that's going to be the silver bullet to change an economy. No. You need a sustainable environment that all the ecosystem players and stakeholders understand and derive value from each other. Symbiotic relationship. That's what I can say. Did I answer the question?
Yes. And, because I wanted to actually ask from that as well, why should the average person in 2025, make the jump to crypto? And I think, like, with a lot of the things that I wanted to follow up with, you sort of naturally just ticked all of those boxes, right? And then I just want to go back, because I know you mentioned about the security and how stringent Binance or crypto is, but one can't help but still, have the stigma of the scam, connotation with crypto. Why do you think that is? Why is it so prone to it? We spoke a bit about it, but, like, is there any other, thoughts you could give as to why the narrative of, crypto is a scam?
Yeah, I can say we're very judgmental as a human race. First, let's maybe try address it from a psychological perspective. So generally, if you don't understand something, you're going to judge it. You're going to judge it probably incorrectly. And just because something isn't regulated doesn't mean it's unlawful.
Okay.
So that's also the basis that we also need to start from. From a lot of the times, central banks would have issued a warning and said, guys, don't stay away from crypto because, it's not a backed legal tender. It's not legal tender. It's not something that the central bank issues. So people hear that and they say, oh, they're warning us not to touch crypto. Crypto's dangerous. It's a scam, everything. No. If you understand what legal tender means, it means that it is a fiat currency that's issued from a central authority, right? The central bank. That's all it means, right? And that is what runs the economy. So all the central bank is doing, and rightfully so, in saying that we're not issuing out this, so there's no guarantee behind it, right? That's fine. So then who is the guarantor for it? Then you start understanding, okay, it's the platform, it's the project. You start unpacking that. So a lot of it is miseducation, unfortunately, judgmental, and people's own biases. And then I think also because criminals are smart, and that's something I always say is criminals are smart because they always follow and naturally gravitate to something that works. So if criminals are on something, that means that it's tested, it works, it is good. So because criminals are also part of the early adopters, they jump onto these things and patent things before people start to enjoy its benefit. And then we kind of have to wean them off and get rid of them out of the system. Then people start appreciating and saying, oh, it's actually not good. Just remove some of the specks. There's always the thing of like, white wall, you'll be able to see a black mark easy.
Yeah.
But then you forget the rest of the wall is still white.
Yeah.
So it's not all, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and all those other analogies that go with that. So I think that's what gave a lot of it its bad name. And then you also have movies and extreme exaggerations of,
like I'll tell you one that came to mind. A lot of us during lockdown dived down many rabbit holes. I'm so guilty of that. And then one of the rumors or notions, thoughts behind crypto was that this was ushering in, the mark of the beast.
Yeah, that's one. Yes.
Yeah. How do you handle, that, or what are your thoughts to that?
Look, I'm also, I believe in Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian, so all of that cool, right? People need to read their Bibles.
Yeah.
Like that. I'll start there because, first of all, like I don't know what what mark crypto has given, you know what I mean? So I don't want to get into all those conspiracies, but I think I was just about to say something so wild, and I'm just like, let me not say
Come
it.
on, let's have it.
I was gonna say if Jesus was here, I'm sure he'd be using crypto. Like if Jesus was around, he'd be using crypto.
Right.
Because at that time he used
the coins, like
the coin. One of these said, "Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar."
Right.
But that means he wasn't using it. They had to obviously buy food and stuff like that. So I'm just saying he was using what was relevant for the day.
Right.
And at this day, which is relevant, we're in 2025. Crypto is part of life. Like get with the program. And saying it politely, but it is where it is. And the difficulties and the challenges around anything that's in its infancies are not new. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's all of a sudden like these are traditional problems that the scammers have always been there. They've been scamming on phones. When mobile money came out, people were scamming on SIM cards. Like crazy. And SIM cards on our work, they weeded out those bad actors or most of them, and now it's like a way of life. Same thing's happening to crypto. So I would say, and again, maybe punting for Binance, Binance has done a lot of that effort or that recalibration to make sure that we're weeding out bad players, add in more compliance guys, add in more legal guys, tighten up the security, making sure we're more compliant, following legislation, etc., etc. And we leading in that. We're the most regulated exchange in the world.
Yes.
That's why we're so big. That's why our users trust us, because we users ourselves, we also need to trust, we need to drink the same Kool-Aid that we sell in, so, and that community aspect around crypto is what you don't find in other systems. Like you don't have a community-centered mobile money wallet projects and bank projects. No, but in our communities, most of the time, they're the ones that call us out and say, hey, that's actually a scam. They inform us. So it's like it's a very inclusive network. You feel like money is not just something that you're using, or the store of value is not just something that you're using, but you're part of that. You can contribute to that, and you can benefit from that. So it's got its bad name because of lack of understanding, all the other reasons. But I think also if people are holding on to it, I think they need to also do some reevaluation and say, what's their prejudice towards that? Maybe they just don't like change.
Yeah.
And we in that adoption curve where we still need to ramp up. We're not there yet. We're still early days, but yeah, I think crypto it does far more good than bad. And with the new stuff that's coming with, not new, but stable coins, real world assets, tokenization, all of that, like you're going to start seeing crypto in a more tangible space,
right,
in a much more here now space.
I get
which
you.
which is good, is good. Natural development, evolution. Yeah.
Look, I think I'm probably about like 80% convinced that you managed to do that, and I think by the end of the interview, I'll be all the way in, man, because I really love everything that you're saying, and it all makes sense, and it helps, speaking to people that work within the space, and who use it itself as well, and you can debunk all the rumors and whatever's been falsely spread about crypto. That being said, you mentioned also putting out a lot of fires when you started out. You were thrown into the deep end, and there you are sizzling. So with there's been quite a few media scandals that Binance has been involved in as well, especially like from a regulation point of view. How do you guys navigate, through those scandals, and what do you need to then do to put things like that to bed so that it doesn't taint what you're trying to achieve through Binance?
Yeah, I think we always play open cards with our regulators, and that's something that is refreshing because some companies, like, the fear kind of grips them, and it's like, oh, let's not say too much because just now they interpret this, and whereas I think we want that adoption. We want to work with regulators. We want to work with governments. We want them to embrace this because the opportunity is not just for the private sector, but it's also for the public sector, and if you can make your citizens' day-to-day lives better, you're right. You reduce the tension and escalations that take place within your country. So we want to be part of the solution and solve for those problems. So when these scandals do come up, normally you find out that they knee-jerk reactions, right? It's not just specific to Binance. I mean, you can list a whole bunch of exchanges,
Right.
yellow card. I mean, Binance hasn't gone down. I mean, when the other FTX scandals took place, with Sam and all those other stuff. But nonetheless, we're here, right? So that's clearly mean that we've stood the test of times. With all the inquiries and stuff like that, we've managed it. Like every company, it's not about how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up.
Right.
So, I mean, there's no blue chip company that is in existence that hasn't
gone through the media
scandals. What I'm
scandals.
saying? And the fact that we've probably broken records in terms of certain things, just shows how more resilient we are, how more tried and tested we are. So how we navigate those things is really with humility, and I don't take it for granted, because when we talk to other countries, when I go to different countries and we speak to other regulators, it's like going into someone else's house. So you don't open up fridge when you go into someone's house, especially in our families. You'll get belted or something will get thrown at you very fast. So yeah, so it's just a thing of respect. It's just like saying, okay, what is the problem? Like where's the issue, and understanding. And even if they don't understand it, like maybe they say, oh, your platform's doing this, and you're like, it's not our platform. You don't start off and say, no, it's not our platform. You just listen to them. You understand, okay, this is, and then you start saying, okay, this is the data that we can unpack, and then you start showing them what they're actually looking for. Then eventually you'll get to a stage where they start realizing where the real issue is.
Yes.
And sometimes, because we're the new kid on the block, now we're getting blamed. It's like, oh, the new kid broke it, the new kid broke it, the new kid broke it.
Sure.
Where our system was already not perfect.
Yeah.
So it was already a flawed system.
Yeah.
So we kind of also stepping into that mess. So it's a learning process. We engage with them, we talk, we deal with it collaboratively. We work with certain bodies like crypto associations. We have one in South Africa. We have one in various different jurisdictions as well. We work with the local guys. We also understand, because the problems aren't specific to us.
Yes.
Binance just has the bigger brand, so it's easier to pin it on Binance and say Binance, because they know we come with the solutions. We solve things. We don't shy away from rolling up our sleeves and addressing the issue. So that's why they kind of do it, maybe to pull us in, to get our attention. Various reasons. Some of it is just smoke. Most of it is just smoke, to be honest. Some of it, where it is fires, we address it. Our law enforcement teams, our compliance teams, like, we have a zero tolerance in our organization in terms of anything that's nefarious or anything that's untoward. But sometimes we don't have the data.
Yeah.
So as much as we block something, we don't know that this person that we blocked is actually attached to like 13 different murder cases or extortion cases or whatever the case is. And that's where collaboration is required between us and the relevant authorities to say, give us your data, give you our data, and let's cross-pollinate this data and lock these bad guys up, because we don't want them on our platform.
Yes.
You don't want them on your platform. So your enemy is our enemy.
Sure.
Sure. It's that simple. It sounds that simple, but there's obviously practical nuances about jurisdiction and mandate and all of these other things that kind of make navigating the space a bit more intricate. And you also
got to have, the right people in the right scenarios, right positions to be able to navigate those kind of conversations, right? And it seems like you are one of those people who have done such a remarkable job at doing that.
Yeah, look, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
I can't attribute it all to myself, but you really need to know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
because the person delivering the message, they probably have KPI. So when you're talking to, the tax authorities, their mind is, okay, we need to bring in X amount of tax for this budget, for the government, et cetera, et cetera. So as much as they hounding you for tax and you argue and say, no, I actually don't owe tax, that doesn't apply, the legalities of it, they're like, no, we need to get this budget over here. Then you need to, now when you start understanding what their concerns are, then you can now say, okay, look here, let's craft the messaging and let's craft the understanding and let's have the workshops that's necessary to explain why maybe the target maybe needs to be adjusted. And that's what we've done. Like in Kenya, we've managed to have those conversations where there was digital asset tax, which was a tax regime that was just completely not thought through, not because of anything other than not understanding the space.
Yeah.
Right. And after educationary conversations and workshops, etc., they understood it.
Yeah.
You're right. And they repelled it. And then now we got the tax duty. Still a lot of taxes. They could do a VAT exemption, in my honest opinion. But that's a good example of how regulators worked with the industry to resolve an issue and still stimulate innovation, still stimulate growth, while still looking after, focusing on consumer protection and all the other nice things around what law helps with. You find that also that if they weren't going to do that, people jump shop. They go to Dubai. They set up in Dubai. Dubai's setting itself as a crypto haven, and America as well. Now they're doing the Genius Act, you know. And stablecoins has been moving in Africa for the longest. It's only now that they're doing it. So why not, if it's working or already happening in your ecosystem, just regulate it and elevate yourself as a jurisdiction and take the rightful space that you need on the global platform. And I think that's also something that I see, is that we sometimes underestimate ourselves as Africans. We don't think that we can actually lead global changes.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because I'm in these rooms where, maybe they're taking a bit too cautionary approach, in my view. Maybe they're taking or moving too fast in another person's view. But we need to be bold for change.
Yes.
We need to be brave for change. And I think that Africa has always been, we've always had so much potential, and we've never just put it on that and said, just let's get to that next level. Let's take what we're doing already and put it on that stage.
I completely
because
agree.
then people will jump on it, and then now it looks like, oh no, it's so new, stable coins, the Genius Act, and you're like, come on guys, like we've been here, like what are you doing?
Yeah. So okay, we're just about towards the end of the episode. I think I'm convinced. I think I'm convinced.
I can maybe get you a line with one more thought.
Right.
So I mean, from a law enforcement perspective, like we also have like education programs like a Binance Academy. Right. We have, and those are free courses that we allow and make available to the community everywhere globally. We're looking at partnerships with various universities as well, not just in South Africa or Africa. Globally, we have those. And again, it's just a way of reinventing yourself and getting more new skill sets so you can be ready for the next position, because it's not AI that's going to replace a lawyer. It's the lawyer that knows AI that's going to replace the lawyer that doesn't know AI. You see? So get familiar with it and stuff like that. And that's what we offer. We have an ecosystem. We do charity. We do Binance is more than just crypto.
Sure.
Right? It's as much as an exchange. Our exchange is our primary core function, but we enable people's lives. Let me say that. And I don't say it lightly. We have marketplaces, we have BPay, there's so much more that you can do than just buying crypto with Binance.
Yeah.
And there's other players, not that we don't do absolutely everything, but there's other players that also then give you other solutions, and there's going to be more stuff that's going to be built, especially with this real world asset tokenization wave that we're getting into. So there's a lot of opportunity. Distributed ledger technology still needs to be unlocked, this is like the beginning stages of internet. That's where we are. But it's beginning stages.
Quite an exciting time.
But still stable for you to use it.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So I'm now I'm convinced, right? I want to enter the game. Where do I invest? Like, what do I invest in? What coin? Like, what is it? What are these things that I should know for getting started? And then also, if I want to pull out, like, how does that work? Like making a withdrawal.
Okay, so first of all, this is not financial advice.
Okay.
I do not give it financial advice. It's not legal advice. The disclaimer
Just a
should
disclaimer.
disclaimer should be floating on the screen or something. But like I can't do that, so I'm not going to tell you, hey Terrence, invest in this coin over here, because then when it goes down, then you're gonna be like, you see,
Then
Larry,
I've got a guy. You see, Larry said.
Binance said,
Binance.
Binance said,
Yeah.
you know. So I would say,
Disclaimer alert.
yeah, I would just say like, start small. Start small, baby steps. Just download the app.
Okay.
You know, download the app, register. The prompts will take you through. And now that we've integrated AI to our app as well, there's ease of navigation. So you can ask the AI and it will tell you like, what's the market position on BTC?
okay.
And pure
Okay.
analytics. It's not advice or anything, just pure analytics. Like it will consume about 10 different sources, information, and then just say, here, this is what the stats look like. And then you say, does this look good? Does this look bad? Maybe you get someone to consult, etc., etc. And you can, so our platform is friendly. That's the first point. Second point I'd say is that being part of the community, like joining Binance Square and following what's being said and what's being shown on our communities, you know, it helps you navigate scams so that you don't get caught up into scams. It helps you navigate which coins are relevant versus which ones aren't, because a lot of the coins will push and they'll say, oh no, we're going to do this and we're going to go to the moon and we're going to go to Mars and we're going to go to Saturn. And you're like, but guys, I don't think that's a good planet. But anyway, you know, being part of the community, they'll fact check a lot of things, and you can ask them and say, hey, is this legit? What about this coin? Da 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 da. And they'll probably be able to guide you better than I can guide you.
Yeah.
I'm not an investor. I'm not I'm not good with that, you know. But with my skill sets, I believe like if you want to invest from a security point or save from a savings point, then you know that you can use it from that perspective as well, and you'll find coins that are attached to that. If you're more ambitious and you more of a technocrat and you believe in certain underlying technology, there's quantum coins, there's AI coins, there's different projects that these coins are based on, and you need to study the white papers, look through it and see what makes sense to you. But there's a lot of exciting things that's going on. Like there's coins that are backed to commodities, like there's a gold coin, you know, there's so many coins, like I don't even know all of them, but there's a coin for everyone. There's a coin for everyone. Crypto is for everyone.
So now, how do I spend it? I've invested in something. I've made a lot of money. I want to spend my money and withdraw. Apart from Pick and Pay in South Africa, where can I spend?
So we have a partnership with Stitch, so you can, and we're also rolling out more fiat channels. What does that mean? Basically, just saying more abilities or access points for you to take your normal money and translate it into crypto money, crypto assets,
and vice
versa. So we call those on ramps and off ramps.
Cool.
So on ramp is getting your fiat normal money into crypto, and then off ramp is taking your crypto back to fiat normal money. So we have that enabled. I think most banks, if not all banks, you can do that. We obviously continuing with more use cases, continuing with more partnerships. Some of them I can't mention now, but it's like if you guys revisit this, and I'm sure it will age well, like in the next 3 months, you'll see Binance more predominantly. You won't just see blue, you'll see yellow, black and yellow.
Okay.
Across the streets of Gauteng, but new things are coming up.
Exciting times.
Getting in and out isn't difficult. I'd say the first thing is just downloading the app, doing the verification, doing the security checks, doing your 2-factor authentications, you know, getting it up and running. Right. Once it's up and running, then Bob's your uncle. Bob's your uncle. But you know, you can get the money up and on and start playing around with it. Like if you got a 50 Rand, put that 50 Rand on. That 50 Rand could be 100 Rand. That 50 Rand could also be a 0 Rand. That 50 Rand could be a 2 Rand. You don't know. But I think the coins that have stood the test of time, I think there's a lot of value in those ones.
Yeah.
The more speculative ones, like the meme coins and stuff like that, to each their own.
Yes.
To each their own. I don't think I have that type of appetite for risk.
Right.
But also what's cool with Binance, we also have like a newish product, Binance Alpha, where you can also dabble with these not as stable coins, stable tokens, stable cryptocurrencies, not stable coins, that that might or might not be listed on our exchange, but then at least you can also get access to newer projects and faster turn in projects, and could be the new next Bitcoin, or the new next XRP, or the new next BNB. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many ways that you can make a coin, or so many things that the coin can be based on. The opportunities are limitless, to be honest.
Yes.
But yeah, to each their own. Do some research. Binance Academy, once again.
Yeah.
Binance communities, Binance Square. And also check into the other communities as well. Tether, Circle, check their communities out. Just get involved with the communities, slowly, bit by bit. And before you'll be able to map out everything, like just with the traditional finance system, like you never knew which are the queues you need to stand in for check deposits, for bulk deposits, for transaction queries, etc., etc. And once you start getting to the community, you start putting the plays and the pieces together, and before you know it, it's a way of life for you, even.
Yeah, I think it is gonna be like
It has to be.
I'm like committing on air here. So yes, cool.
Oh, cool.
No, Larry, this has been so informative, and I thank you for your time. And I really do hope that we get to do it again. It would be great, if 3 months down the line we can, check in and see what's happening. We notice the changes, and we're starting to see Binance everywhere and things like that. It would be nice to hear more about, the other programs and things like that. And, let's see how we can, continue to spread a good word about Binance and the work that you guys are doing.
No, thank you for that, Terence. And I mean, your platform allows us to, talk to the different users and different curious minds about crypto, and demystify, what crypto is and what it isn't.
That's it.
And the more tangible you start seeing things, the more you believe it, I guess. So seeing is believing. So you'll see much more of us, and there'll be more opportunities, and looking forward again to more of these conversations. Maybe we'll get into more technical stuff and more controversial things. Who knows? But we can definitely do this again. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gents, there we have it. The world just keeps progressing, right? We went from the gold standard to the fiat system, and now into the world of crypto. And the question from me to you is, are you bold enough to embrace change? Drop a comment, like, and subscribe. And if you want to see more content and interviews like this, let us know and we'll make it happen. So from us to everybody back at home, we hope that we done our part to ignite your light so that you can keep it burning bright. Stay locked in with us on EXC-i8. There we go.
I so wanted to do that. When you said it the first time and you're like, "Aight," I was like, "Aight," in my head.